currently head of Laboratory of Biomechanical Systems, Research in Mechanical Engineering Research Institute of Russian Academy of Sciences, Chief Researcher of the Center of Interdisciplinary Researches of Musical Creativity of the Moscow State Conservatory by P.I. Tchaikovsky. Is that correct? Yes. Right, thank you. Editor-in-Chief of International Journal of Mathematical Sciences and Computing. Please underline this. International Journal of Mathematical Sciences and Computing, Hong Kong. It's been selected and honored with many awards. Some of them I'm just listing. Laureate of the State Prize of USSR, one of the highest awards in USSR. Academician of the Academy of Quality Problems, Russia from 2000. Grand Doctor of Philosophy, full professor, the European Academy of Informatization, Belgium. The Chinese government inserted his name in the list of outstanding scientists in the world. So let's give a big hand there. In 2012, and provided a financier of his lectures in China, Chairman of Advisory Board of International Symmetry Associations, Budapest, Hungary from 2003 till now. Honorary Chairman of Board of Directors of International Society of Symmetry in Bioinformatics. That's one of the leading topics these days. USA, and co-leader of long-term scientific cooperation between Russian and Hungarian academies of sciences in the theme non-linear models and symmetrological analysis in biometrics, bioinformatics, and theory of self-organizing systems. Scientific supervisor and main contractor for competitive state education and computer science, Hong Kong, from 2016. He's also Vice President of the International Society of Natural Medicine, Slovakia. Scholarship for Scientific Internship in Germany from the German Academic Exchange Service, DAAD 2017. He's the author of approximately 250 scientific works, including the following 8 books. I'm just reading it for you for your information. Petoukhov SV Biomechanics, Bionics and Symmetry, Geometrics of Living Nature and Algorithms of Self-Organization, Moscow, Zenane. Then Table of Genetic Code and the Number of Protons, Moscow, Youth Book Center. There are so many things. Symmetrical analysis techniques for genetic systems and bioinformatics, advanced patterns and applications, Hershey, USA, IGI Global. Bioinformatics theory, practice, and applications. Then algebraic biology, matrix genetics, and genetic intelligence, Singapore, World Scientific 2023. Petoukhov is a specialist in theoretical and mathematical biology, in particular in problems of genetic coding and bioinformatics, biomechanics, crystallography, theories of symmetry and self-organization. There is a lot of information. If you want, you can just go through HTTP as usual, petoukhov.com. That will give complete information about Dr. Petoukhov. We are at Pentagram and Institute of Ancient Philosophy. We are really honored to have him on this occasion of International Conference on Science and Spirituality for Global Peace and Harmony. With his knowledge, experience, and association with so many organizations, his contributions to the world, being one of the outstanding scientists in the world, we are really happy, really honored to receive him, and I request him to present the paper today for our audience. Thank you so much. Please come. Spasibo, spasibo, spasibo. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The talk by Sergey Petoukhov, Universal Regularities of Symmetry and Fractals in Genomic DNAs and their binary genomic numbers, Consciousness and Genetic Intelligence. The idea of the harmonious organization of living organisms has ancient roots in the history of the philosophical and religious teaching of India and other countries. This talk is devoted to the author's results of identifying new forms of harmony in the genetic organization of living bodies. They are associated with genetic intelligence, under which we understand those parts of the intellectual potentials of living organisms, which allows building a whole body with its trillions of intercoordinated cells, starting from one fertilized cell based on genetic information in DNA RNA molecules. At the same time, parental traits are genetically reproduced in living bodies by a multi-channel and noise-resistant manner, despite the strong noises and constant changes of food conditions and external influences. The creators of quantum mechanics, Jordan and Schrödinger, pointed out the key difference between living bodies and inanimate ones. Inanimate objects are controlled by the average random movement of their millions of particles, and the movement of individual particles is not significant for the entire object. On the contrary, in a living organism, selected genetic molecules have a dictatorial influence on the entire organism due to quantum enhancement. See the history of quantum biology. In accordance with this, to reveal the secrets and patterns of living nature, it is necessary to study the universal rules of DNA informatics. Genetic as a science began with discovery by Mendel in experiments on the crossing of organisms, of statistical rules of inheritance of traits, and with his fundamental idea about the binary oppositional basis of these rules as connected with dominant and recessive inheritance factors, alleles. This article or talk proposes a significant expansion of the importance of statistical rules in genomic informatics. In biology, everything is associated with the stochastic interactions of molecules inside the cells. But in parallel with it, there is a deterministic inheritance of traits from parents to descendants. Dualism, stochastics, determinism. It is not without reason that one of the founders of quantum mechanics and the author of the first article on quantum biology, Jordan, asserted that the laws of living organisms missed by science are the laws of probability. See the history of quantum biology. Quantum mechanics and quantum informatics are based on probability formalisms. Many works in the world are devoted to the study of biobodies as quantum physical information systems. Let us now turn to my analysis of statistical regularities in the informatics of a wide representative set of single-stranded genomic DNAs. This analysis has revealed universal algebraic rules for the connection between stochastics and determinism already at the deep level of genomic DNAs of higher and lower organisms. All genomic DNAs I took from the publicly available genetic data bank, GenBank. Binary positions in DNA alphabet section. Genetic information in DNA is written in the form of long text of 4 molecular letters of nucleotides. Adenine A, cytosine C, guanine G, and thymine T. A fragment of nucleotide sequence in genomic DNA is here. In DNA, the alphabet of 4 nucleotides TACG is the carrier of the system of 3 pairs of binary oppositional traits indicators and contains 3 types of binary subalphabets. Firstly, 2 of these nucleotides are purine, A and G, which have 2 rings in the molecule, and the other 2, C and T, are pyrabidines containing 1 ring, which gives a representation in blue. C and T is 0, A and G is 1. Regarding this binary trait, any sequence of DNA nucleotides is represented a corresponding binary sequence. For example, the sequence GCATGAAGT is represented in blue as 1010111110. Secondly, 2 of these nucleotides are keto molecules, T and G, and the other 2, C and A, are amino molecules, which gives a representation in red. C and A is 0, T and G is 1. In terms of this binary trait, the same sequence GCATGAAGT is represented differently as 100110011. Thirdly, 2 of these nucleotides, A and T, are linked in a complementary pair by 2 hydrogen bonds, and the other 2 nucleotides, C and G, are linked in a complementary pair by 3 hydrogen bonds. This gives the representation in green. C and G is 0, A and T is 1. In terms of this feature, the same sequence, GCATTG, etc., is read as 0011011101. In other words, each DNA sequence of nucleotides is a carrier of 3 parallel messages in 3 different binary languages. The 3 types of binary representations form a common logical system based on the logical trinity of DNA subalphabets, which is revealed by the logical operation of modulo 2 addition applied to them. Modulo 2 addition of any 2 such binary representations of a DNA sequence yields a binary sequence identical to the 3rd type of binary representation of the same DNA sequence. For example, using the above binary representations of the GCAT-GAAGT sequence, we have binary blue plus binary number in red is equal to binary number in green. Logical modulo 2 addition is actively used in quantum informatics, and the DNA alphabet of nucleotides is connected with this algebra logic operation. Underrepresenting the nucleotide sequence of any single-stranded genomic DNAs as binary sequences based on the noted 3 binary DNA subalphabets, we obtain 3 types of binary sequences called binary genomic numbers, or BG numbers in shortly. These binary genomic numbers have unique statistical features revealed by the following author's method of hierarchy of binary statistics, or the method of statistical nesting dolls. The binary sequence of a studied BG number is first considered as textual population of single symbols 0 and 1 with computer calculation of the percentage probability of each of these two symbols, 0 and 1. Then this BG number is considered as a population of binary duplets 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, with calculation of the probability of each of these four types of binary duplets. Then, similarly, the same binary genomic number is represented as a population of triplets, tetraplets, etc., with each time calculating the percentages of each of the 64 types of binary triplets, each of the 256 types of binary tetraplets, etc. Thus, each BG number is represented as a multi-layer system of textual-like populations of binary endplets having appropriate probabilities in the considered DNA. It turns out that probabilities of endplets in different layers are unexpectedly interconnected by universal regular ways in genomic DNAs of higher and lower organisms. Presented below and other discovered and published by the author rules of stochastic deterministic organization of sequences in genomic DNAs are valid for all genomic DNAs already analyzed in our laboratory. Firstly, all 24 human chromosomes, all chromosomes of Drosophila, mice, worm, and many plants, 19 genomes of bacteria and archaea, many extremophiles living in extreme conditions, for example, radiation with a level 1,000 times higher than that lethal to humans. I'll explain these rules using the example of single-stranded DNA of human chromosome number 1, containing about 250 million of nucleotides. Its binary representation, for example, based on the purine pyrimidine subalphabet, is a super-huge binary genomic number with about 250 million bits. The decimal analog of such a number reaches 2 in power 2050 million. These mutually related binary genomic numbers, based on the three types of DNA subalphabet, supposedly reflect the laws of quantum biophysics and quantum bioinformatics, genetic memory, algorithms of genetic biomechanics, etc. Mathematical natural science has not previously worked with systems of such super huge numbers, as far as I know. Statistical analysis of binary genomic numbers based on the purine pyrimidine subalphabets. Firstly, in this subalphabet, purines are designated by blue symbol 0 and pyrimidines by the blue symbol 1. CNT is 0, A and G is 1. The diagram of probabilities of purine pyrimidine endplets is shown here for the case of the nucleotide sequence of DNA of the human chromosome number 1, represented as a set of textual-like layers of endplets. See slide. In genomic DNAs between adjacent layers of endplets and N+1 plets of purines pyrimidines, nature realizes the following rule of the dichotomous fractal of probabilities. The probability of each endplet is almost equal to the summary of the probabilities of two N+1 plets. For example, in the DNA of the human chromosome number 1, the duplet 01 in the text of the duplets has a probability of 0.2190, and two triplets 010 and 011 in the text of the triplets have almost the same total amount of their probabilities, 0.2191. Statistical analysis of binary genomic numbers based on the amino Keta subalphabet. A similar rule of dichotomous fractals of genomic probabilities holds for binary genomic numbers determined by the amino Keta subalphabet of DNA. For any tested genomic DNA, represented as a set of text of amino Keta endplates, the probability of each endplate in the endplate text is practically equal to the sum of the probabilities of two n+1 plates in the corresponding n+1 plate text. Now, statistical analysis of binary genomic numbers based on the subalphabet of strong weak hydrogen bonds. A similar rule of the dichotomous fractal of the probabilities of endplates for binary genomic numbers representing nucleotide sequences of genomic DNAs based on binary oppositions of strong 3 bonds and weak 2 bonds, hydrogen bonds. Thus, the statistical organization of all three considered types of huge binary genomic numbers representing genomic DNAs by using 3 types of binary oppositions in the nucleotide alphabet of DNAs turns out to be structurally interrelated and connected in a triune manner with the dichotomous fractals of probabilities, graphically shown here. All genomic informatics turns out to be connected to a huge multi-layer network of dichotomous fractals of probabilities. Thus, Jordan's prediction about the loss of life missed by science, which are the laws of probability of the quantum world, is confirmed. The discovered universal rules of genomic DNAs indicate the existence of non-trivial algebraic invariants of global genomic nature, which remain unchanged over billions of years of evolution, during which millions of species of organisms die out and new ones arise, although locally genomic sequences change as a result of mutations, pressure of natural selection, etc. The discovered rules indicate that the information sequences of genomic DNAs are stochastic deterministic, that is, such in which stochastics is strongly limited by the presence of regular interrelations between the total probabilities of certain groups of endplates from different endplate layers. The systems of dichotomous fractals of probabilities in genomic DNAs can be modeled on the basis of formalisms of quantum informatics in the form of multi-level polyqubit states in which the coefficients of computational basis states of different levels are numerically interconnected, determining the unity of the system. Dichotomies in genetically inherited bodies are well known. 2 hemispheres of the brain, dichotomous branching in plants, vessels, and neurons, the bronchial tree of human lungs endowed with 23 levels of dichotomous branching, etc. But in genomic DNAs, unlike in bodily structures, we encounter a fundamentally different type of dichotomy. Dichotomies of probabilistic characteristics in DNA information sequences. Extensive dichotomous fractal networks of genomic DNA's probabilities are the soil from which living bodies and genetic intelligence grow. The material structures of living bodies don't arise out of nowhere, but have structural prototypes in the lawful system of genomic probabilities. The discovery of universal rules of genomic probabilities allows us to understand in a new way the phenomena of dichotomies in the hereditary structure of biological bodies. For example, why, over the course of billions of years of life on Earth, it is common for bacteria and prokaryotes to reproduce themselves by dichotomous division of the body into two halves. On what structural and energetic foundations is this eternal dichotomous phenomenon of bacterial reproduction based, accompanied by the most complex process of dichotomous division of all dichotomously organized genetic information together with the accompanying complex protein and nucleic acid ensembles of the bacterial cell. The following answer is possible. There is a world of families of probabilities hidden from direct perception, structured on the basis of binary oppositions like yin-yang. It is in the image and likeness of the binary organized families of probabilities of this multi-layered world that genetically inherited biobodies are built. Figuratively speaking, our bodies are like clothes put on these binary structured families of probabilities, which act as prototypes of biological structures. To a certain extent, this is similar to the situation with the invisible man from the noble Wells, whose invisible figure appeared only when he was wearing clothes. It is also reminiscent of the ideas of the manifest and unmanifest worlds and Plato's famous allegory about the world of ideas and the shadows on the wall of a cave by which people living in the cave can judge the true hidden world of ideas. Probabilities, brain, and consciousness. Our brain, containing 86 billion nerve cells and 1 quadrillion interneural contacts, operates on probabilistic principles, since the transmission of each impulse from neuron to neuron can be influenced by an immense number of factors. But based on the stochastic flows of neural impulses in the brain, we obtain a deterministic idea about objects in the surrounding world and can successfully operate with them. Since the brain is inherited through the genetic coding system, one can think that by learning the universal rules of the stochastic organization of genomic informatics, we indirectly learn the probabilistic principles of the brain and the biomechanics of sensory motor system. These questions are directly related to the long-known biomechanical problem of Bernstein. The general task of body movement is performed precisely regardless of the imprecision of the constituent motor subtask. For example, when repeating a precise hammer blow on a nail, a person each time uses different trajectories, velocities, and accelerations of body parts with changes in both joint flexion and the activity of many muscles with many motor neurons of each muscle. The degree of freedom problem in motor control states that there are many ways for a person or animal to perform a movement to achieve the same goal. The question of how the nervous system selects a subset of these almost infinite degrees of freedom is a fundamental problem in understanding motor control and motor learning. The Vedic cosmology states that the universe is mathematical. In parallel with this, our researchers testify that structural organization of living bodies is algebraic and it is connected with the world of probabilities of quantum informatics. Additional materials of the talk are presented in my book, Algebraic Biology, Matrix Genetics, and Genetic Intelligence, co-authored with Professor Matthew He from the USA and published in World Scientific, and also in my articles. Please look at my at my website with additional publication in free access. Conclusions. The harmonic organization of genetically encoded of living bodies is based on an algebraic harmony of probabilities of a special stochastic deterministic type. In particular, this harmony of probabilities manifests as the tree-unity of the dichotomous fractals of probabilities. Second, universal algebraic rules of probabilities exist in nucleotide sequences of single-stranded genomic DNAs of higher and lower organisms. The algebraic harmony of genomic probabilities presented in symmetrical features of huge binary genomic numbers echoes some provisions about fractal-like structures from ancient Indian philosophy. Thanks for your attention.
Discuss? You speak.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation, and I will certainly look into and I will certainly go for studying this theory. I mean, I was not aware that such a theory also exists. I have read the 1996 Roger Penrose theory that in the brain, the consciousness appears because of the quantum tunneling within the neurons. So, what do you think that your theory and the Roger Penrose theory both are converging to a same point, or both these theories are diverse theories?
Yes, thank you very much for this interesting question. Okay, I have this. I say that genetic level is more deep than Penrose neurons, brain, etc. Yes, and it is wonderful that theory of Penrose exists. It is coordinated. The genetic probabilities rules and Penrose concepts about quantum informatics of our brain and functioning of neurons, etc. It is supported each other, in my opinion. Excuse me for my English is not, okay. Excuse me for my English, it is unfortunately not fluent.
You can go through petoukhov.com, sir, for most of the information. All his articles, all his research papers are available there. I think you could go through that and understand. Okay, Katish, sir, you have some question?
Congratulations. My question is on your analysis. You stated, I'm just going to read out that. Okay. Yeah. Your analysis says that the DNA is by using three types of binary oppositions in the nucleotide alphabet of DNAs turns out to be structurally interrelated. And you showed beautiful pictures of those three, blue, red, and the green. My question is, does that tell us something about the origin of the biology itself, that there is something within our DNA and it prefers trimers, not dimers, not tetramers. It is three all the time, in three-dimensional. So does your analysis talk about that to some extent?
It is a so complex question. I don't know exact answer on it. Yes. Please, philosopher Kant stated, in every natural scientific theory there is as much truth as there is mathematics in it. Correspondingly, I am looking for algebraic geometric mathematics representing the structural, stochastic, deterministic, and cyclic properties of genetic information for the development of theories of genetic and quantum biology. I try to study this. I have no answers on many questions.
Okay.
It is a very new questions arises
Okay.
in this direction.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
You have a question?
I have one small comment about there is a numerical mention of your concept in Vedic literature that our human mind is image of galaxy because there are same number of particles in both. About trillion stars in galaxy, trillion cells here, neurons here.
For me to answer, I don't understand.
No,
Excuse me.
no, it is not question. You are telling about Vedic thought. So in Vedic literature, there is a numerical statement that our human mind is image of galaxy. There are same number of particles, trillion particles there, trillion stars, trillion neurons here. This is mentioned in Vedic literature.
I suppose there are many analogies of mathematical aspects. It should be studied.
Okay.
I agree with you. Thank you very much, Osmo.
Sir, I have a question, sir. Genetic sensors, you've heard of it, right? Genetic sensors. there are concepts these days wherein toxic expulsion are also possible using genetic sensors. Is that possible? Genetic sensors. Is it possible to use genetic sensors to expel toxic nature from the plants or human bodies?
I don't know. I don't. I can't to answer on your important question accurately.
Okay, we have developed technologies wherein genetic sensors are used to expel toxicity from the plants and make it organic.
There are so many questions concerning personal genetics. I try to follow to the problem of personal genetics. It is my dream.
Can you throw some light on consanguineous marriages, the effect of the consanguineous marriages on the genetics of the human beings?
Yes, it is so many approaches to new, to new technologies, to artificial intelligence concerning quantum informatics in such multi-level structures, etc. It is very prospective direction.
Thank you so much. We have Professor Rajan, who has also done excellent studies on genomes and genome analytics. Probably he will also have some questions. Yes?
My question is, the research very clearly states that the memory, genetic memory, flows for billions of years across the generations. So what triggers unfolding of this memory? So from previous ancestral, we are, the DNA based, the genetic memory is passing on fine. When does it unfold, or how is it unfolding? That is something that I'm curious about. Is there any triggers, or does it automatically unfold? Because the information or the knowledge is passing on to me, let's say from my great-grandfather. But when does it unfold? Are there any certain triggers? What kind of triggers really unfold them?
Repeat your name. Srikant?
I'm Srikant Taluri.
Taluri.
Yes.
Taluri, there is a lot of information on his website.
I will
Okay.
go through.
He has some issue actually to learn or understand
Sure,
the
sure,
subject.
yes,
But
yes.
if he still
I will also write to you on
Would
this.
you like to answer?
Yes, I try. Yes. Organisms are algebraic entities, in my opinion, in my approaches. And I hope that this direction of study opens the answer on your interesting, important questions. Yes. 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 Thank you. Yes. Okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
For
Thank you.
your question. In future, I hope to answer you
Definitely.
in more accurate manner.
Sure, definitely. Thank you.
Srikant, as I already told you, there is a lot of information, lot of articles, and a lot of information available on his website. You please go through it. It is available in the brochure also. You can see his website and learn more from it. Any questions, you can always forward to us. We will definitely try to get
Definitely,
information.
I'll reach out. Yeah, thank you.
Professor, thank you very much for your presentation. It was very enlightening. I have one comment and one question. One comment is the striking similarity with Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, his idea of entelechy, which is a natural teleology within the organism. Aristotle, the philosopher, right? He talked about entelechy, which is the natural teleology, like purpose, how it develops. Now, my question is that based on what you presented and what Aristotle had talked about, does that suggest that there is a universal intelligence behind this cosmos because that causes this development? Right, that's one. And the second part of the question is that these developments refer to the physical bodies that we have, the cells. But when it comes to the personality of the individual organism, how would such a model depict it or predict it?
Thank you very much.
Говорит, если есть совершенный организм, интеллект, как будет там что-то с моделью представлено?
Yes, thank you very much, but it is, yes, this is so complex questions. In DNA, in DNA, yes, yes, yes. These materials concern many philosophical questions in history of philosophy, etc., etc. I hope that further investigation or study algebraic structure of our genetic coding system answer on this analogy and history of philosophy. Yes, it is. Yes, ладно. Yes. Yes. Ладно.
Человек переживает, все нормально.
It is so algebraic structure in DNA coding, and they yes. Yes. It is complex for me. Excuse me. Yes. In further study, interesting answers on your question will be received. Excuse me. In working situation, we can discuss this philosophy of philosophy in history contains many wonderful thoughts by so many philosophers, Aristotle, Kant, etc., etc. DNA study can give us answers who will be more different than other philosophers, etc., etc. It is interesting new source of comparison analysis for philosophy, for medicine, for technology, for artificial intelligence, etc., etc. Let us study genetic coding system with algebraic point of view. Excuse me. It is so great materials. It is only a small fragment of in this book and my later publications in good journals, etc. Step by step, please.
So that's why my question to you was actually, does it suggest, in your view, in your opinion, does it suggest that there might be a divine or universal intelligence behind this unfolding, that universal probability law that you talked about?
Yes, I suppose that such intelligence exists in the world. Yes. Yes, it is a united system of surrounding the world and all of us, in my opinion.
Thank you, sir. Professor Rajan, I request you to say a few words about...
If you permit me, one very small question.
I will answer. because we work together.
So this is very nice. I mean, the entire human body, how the information is being decomposed in the fractal decomposition format, this is given here. Do you find the same pattern which you have presented here as it is in the human body, you can say? Do you find the same pattern, same decomposition pattern of genetic material anywhere else in some other organism or in some other body, in some other?
Есть что-то еще похожее? Окей. Answer, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. All living human beings are living species. The DNAs and RNAs, no, their pattern remains same. So many 45 years of my research in this, and Petoukov's research, I have gone through many of his papers, and the Vedic philosophy, which I had been working for the past 65 years. Okay, I come to understanding that as Aristotle, he said, we are embedded in the universal consciousness. Roger Penrose, he says that the consciousness is in the end of the, what you call, the tubulus.
Yes.
In the
Tubules.
Tubules. We say tubulus or tubules or whatever. I beg to contradict that. He makes use of somebody else who is a radiologist in the United States of America. So these two people have been doing that, but I beg to see, scientists always know but as a philosopher, it's about science. We have some kind of a vision like Ramanujan had. I too had that kind of a vision. So what I understood is we're all embedded, immersed in the universal consciousness. The whole body itself is consciousness. Consciousness is not here, throughout the body, everywhere. Akashat patitam toyam prati sagaram pratigacchati. That's it. So I hope you understand. The universal mind, objective mind, subjective mind. We always quarrel. Someone says, my mind says, he says, my mind, he says, my mind, I say, my mind. These are all subjective minds.
Yes.
But the universal mind that controls your body, mind, and intellect, the subjective mind. But the universal mind is a kind of exposition of the universal consciousness. And the universal consciousness is nothing but universal knowledge blended with universal energy, what we call as God. So it's a God science. So if you really read Vedic philosophies, I've written this book, Brahma Sutras, very clearly I've written answers for Aristotle and your whatever you have. Whatever questions you have, you please go through the book, you will understand there are answers. It's a logical interpretation of Brahma Sutras, written that. In fact, he wrote a commentary on this thing. He had given comments, himself and Petoukhov. These two people gave comments on this book, Brahma Sutras, all right? Yeah. So he understood that. He's unable to explain that because he's a hardcore scientist.
Yes, yes.
He's not a spiritualist, he's a religious person. He's a hardcore scientist, mathematician.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not only a scientist, I'm a spiritualist too. So I'm able to see things together.
Both the point of views.
Together.
Yes.
That's why I'm able to answer your questions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Please go through the book written
Definitely,
by,
definitely.
and ask Arun Kumar Upadhyay, IPS. He is also a Vedic scholar. He knows a lot of things about this. Feel free to talk to him. And you can talk to our Babu also. So Babu also has done a lot of work. He is a professor. He's going to retire now. He's an electrical engineering professor. You can talk to him. No problem, okay? So what is universal consciousness? What is God? Is he Rama, Krishna, Allah, Jesus, this, that? Universal consciousness. That's it. We're all part of it. Am I right or wrong?
Thank you, Professor. Let me conclude this session.
Some words. Hello. For this video report exists some video tutorial which you can see in future days of our conference. Comprehensive tutorial where you can use this theory, you understand how you can execute these programs, how you can use this theory and real your science direction.
And householden.
Yeah, and householden, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Petoukhov sir. Please be seated.
Petoukhov is going to give a tutorial on this, Indian philosophy. Okay? So, we'll see. Here itself. You're gonna, when is the tutorial, Petoukhov tutorial? Tomorrow?